Hello YouTube, it's Philip again. I wanted to show you what's going on. I've got a wiring diagram for how I wired up this entire system. This is the wiring diagram. You can see it's got a field installed shunt. Here's the inverter. Here's the 250 amp breaker, and the only battery connection that goes to this is here and here. There's not two circuits that's designed for this. Now this is what is intended for the Midnight Classic Solar Charge Controller. The professional wire diagram for this system does not power two circuits on the battery. It only powers one circuit. So here's one circuit, battery negative connect, which goes right here. And here's the other circuit, battery positive connect, which goes right here. There is not two connections between the batteries, so I just wanted to clear that up because a lot of trolls had bashed Troy at the Do-It-Yourself World Off-Grid Project to do it the wrong way. Now I'm going to clarify this diagram is the right way. So this is our main 250 amp breaker. Our positive connection ties in right here, and our solar power charger. Here's our charge output. Goes straight over here, down and up into the bottom of this right here. Here is our solar power charger. I made a copper bar right here, and that goes from the charge controller into a breaker. That's a 100 amp breaker because I output 96 almost every day, 96 amps, and it goes right here to this copper bar. Right now we're at 44 amps. We're in float charge. It's about 3 or 4 o'clock. I think we was in float at 11 o'clock today, and that's with running everything. I mean, dishwasher, cooking, video games. My son's upstairs playing video games right now, and we're not withdrawing anything off the batteries. So here's your neutral leg, what I consider the neutral that goes to the inverter. These two yellow pieces of tape represents the inverter. This circuit right here and this circuit represents the battery bank. This is actual negative. I have them taped white because in houses white is neutral. And for home inspections, for the inspector, I wanted to make sure he's seen white. So this is a 24 volt circuit, 24 volts right here. And then this is the inverter that comes off of it. Now this block right here is a shunt. It measures millivolts difference between here, and it has a battery terminal tester on the battery bank itself, so I can use the trimetric charge monitor upstairs. It runs from this box here all the way upstairs. I've ran a Cat 5e wire on it, and this is a 250 amp breaker right here. This is the big mammy jammy. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 breakers in this circuit. This breaker has 87 volts right now on this breaker here. It goes up and over to here, which is a another breaker that's a DC ground fault breaker. So it's a ground fault circuit. And then it goes out to the charge controller. From there it charges the batteries. It comes out into this second breaker here, and it outputs amps into the battery bank from here. So this bar is attached to this breaker. If something happens, this breaker is going to trip, it's going to turn off the charge controller, and we're good. But there'd still be power on this breaker here, but we still wouldn't be charging. You just got to remember, all these circuits that have power moving through it has a breaker on it. So this here goes to the charge controller. I use number 4 gauge wire because number 4 gauge wire will handle about 100 amps or so, and that's the only thing you can fit in this charge controller too. It barely fits. It is a you know, your standard home wire that's, you know, stranded, your standard wire. It just works fine. I want you to see these 2 little tiny wires. I'm going to pull you up a little bit closer here. See this wire here? You can't see. Let me. This wire here, this little wire, it's a number 6 gauge wire to me. It's little and it's powering just about the whole house. This thing's running awesome. Both of these wires, see that wire? It's small compared to the rest of them. I would use a number 10 gauge wire if this was 48 volts, but you know, it's not, no big deal. So let's go over this. Basically, our negative from our battery terminal right here, battery terminal negative, battery terminal positive, they connect right there. And the charging circuit from the charge controller goes straight to the other side of the shunt, and the charging circuit from the charge controller goes straight to the battery. If you put a shunt in there, you have to put your charge controller on one side and inverter on the same side, and then you put your batteries on the other side. The reason why you do that is so you can monitor the power coming in and the power going out. And if Troy gets one of those trimetric charge controllers, he can measure this directly in between. And it's so easy, very simple. And you don't have to worry about the charging of the cross way to charge. I don't understand why people would want to do that, because the terminals are directly connected. They are all directly connected, and they're all connected with a very thick wire. In fact, his terminals are connected with thicker wire than my terminals are. So, you know, you should commend Troy for that. Now, since we've went ahead and looked through this whole system, we got 4 breakers, we got a 250. So, we've seen the inside part of this, basically it's a breaker panel. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go outside and show you the outside parts to my equipment. And we'll get right to it here shortly. Hey YouTube, it's Philip20 again. And I'm going to go ahead and show you. Here's my heat pump. But underneath this grass right here that's grown up real tall is my ground lug. It grounds my entire circuit. It's a 10-foot rod buried deep into the ground. And number 6 gauge copper wire comes up to the wall into this disconnect. From that disconnect, it's got double pole, double throw. Whenever you turn this switch off, I'm not going to turn it off, there's no point in turning it off, but it's got an emergency handle for shut off. And just bam, turn it off anyways, showed it to you. So we've got this disconnect here that goes into the equipment inside. It runs about 90 volts or so, and then we go from here and we're going up on the roof. So yeah, don't look at my yard, but something also that's pretty cool, I just planted a couple of trees. I've got a pear and a peach tree over there, and I've got an apple tree over here, and they're pretty young. I hope they grow good. If you guys can tell me how to grow apples out of an apple tree, I would love it. Let me know. So we're going on the roof. I'm climbing the ladder. Okay. Here's my solar array. We'll take a quick look around. I've bent these terminals straight up on purpose because that'll connect lightning quicker than the corners. I had a lot more solar panels on this roof right here. I may put it back, but for right now it's not important. What is important is taking a look at our combiner box. So right off the bat you can see that I've got a lightning arrestor attached to it, and I've got bare copper wire attached to it. It's real easy to open this box up. You just stick a screwdriver in, pry it down, and the cover comes open for maintenance. And we'll do that again, and the whole thing comes apart. And you got this lightning arrestor. I couldn't be more happy with it right now. It's working fine as far as I know, because my solar power system wasn't attached to the grid when I was gone. I had it off. You can see right here we got 4 15 amp breakers and a combiner bar for all the breakers. We got 4 wires here. We got number 10, number 10, number 10, and then number 8. The number 8 is the furthest one away. The only reason why I used number 8 was because I ran out of number 10. All the wire that's attached on the roof here is photovoltaic wire, and it's good to go. We've got our ground circuit that is attached directly to ground rod at the bottom, and then these you got an additional ground that goes to the lightning arrestor, and you got the positive which goes over here to the left of all the panels. And here's the right side of all the panels. Look how little that wire is. That's what's running all of the solar power. See, if you use a 12 volt system and use PWM charge controllers, you're going to have to buy a wire this big around to keep your batteries charged from the solar array. But if you just, you get an MPPT charge controller, you can combine them all together and run them with really high voltage, because we got 3 panels in series on this system. On each one of the systems. So this is 3 panels in series, 3 panels in series, 3 panels in series, 3 panels in series, and it makes like 4 big solar panels basically. So let's just say I got 4 big solar panels. I got 12 on the roof, but if you divide that in 4, you get 3. So that's what you're going to be looking at if you wanted to do this type of system with the voltage that mine is rated at. So basically we're doing really well right now with our system. I'm really surprised on how much I can run. It looks really nice, but it's been really hot recently, and we've run the air conditioner a lot, and our bill went up quite a bit this recently, and we've been gone too. So I've got to come up with a solution to get it lower. And I really think that being able to attach my stove and dryer to the solar array would be beneficial. Now, how far I could go with the stove and dryer, it's up in the air, but I intend on putting another battery bank in, attaching the inverter that I've got now to another battery bank, and then putting a Magnum in to run the rest of the house with the 12 batteries I got. Or I could just build a whole new battery bank and put the Magnum on it. But I'm thinking I'll do the Magnum first, because that's going to get me a lot more power now. So, tell me what you guys think about this setup. You know, I built this whole system myself. I wired the entire system myself. It's not something that I normally do. I'm a heat and air conditioning technician. I've put the heat and air conditioning in my house. So I'm going to do a maintenance on my air conditioning system at my home. And I want you guys to tell me if you want me to put that on YouTube, because that's not part of my channel, is air conditioning, but I can definitely add it to the channel. So I want you guys to see part 2 of the overview of my solar array. This right here has got to be my favorite part, is having all this stuff on the roof and it working really well. So, and don't forget to put on any of your main panels or sub panels, to prevent any of your electronics from getting destroyed, a surge protector. There's a breaker that you can install to your system that's a surge protector, and it will protect your breakers. So please consider installing one of those. They will keep the voltage from rising to 1,000,000 volts when you get hit, the town beside you get hit by lightning, and lightning runs through all the lines. So just take that in consideration. And I want to say thank you to all the new subscribers. I've got a shout out or two for Yankee 4. He's one of my favorite YouTubers. Also another one of my favorite YouTubers is Rhandsom. I'm going to leave a link to their YouTube page in the description below. Check them out if you like. If you don't, that's cool. Randsom's a big YouTuber for solar, and so is Yankee. They've got more of like a prepper lifestyle, I think, than I do. I just got the solar in mind. I've got a little bit of prepping stuff going, but not a whole lot. Those guys are a lot more into it than me. And I just want you guys to know thank you, and come around some more. We got more coming. And this is Philip 20 with solar power, electricity, and electronics. And I'll holler at y'all later.